my brothers.
Peace.
Peace.
Now I know y'all have been doing a lot of work for my man, John. I can't think of his name right
Edward
now.
Bruce.
Yeah, Jeff Bruce, and a complimentary. I did the articles. Y'all found out that his tombstone didn't have a tombstone on his grave for over almost 100 years, and y'all raised the money and led the effort to get him honored the way he needs to be honored. And y'all been doing a lot of things, and y'all are working on something right now. So I wanted to bring y'all on and let y'all tell the people about it.
Very good. Thank you very much for the platform.
No doubt. So Dr. Bob, kick it off.
So firstly, let me say that it's a pleasure to be back with the Black Westchester People Before Politics audience. Obviously, for those members who know me, I mean, I've been away doing some other things, this project being one of them. And before we begin, I wanted to take the opportunity to extend a happy new year to each of the panelists, starting with Sister Larnez, Brother Damon Jones, and then peace, DK, closing out with my man, AJ Woodson. It's very timely that we should be joining you guys on air to discuss the progress that we've been making on the documentary project about the life and legacy of John Edward Bruce, a pioneering activist, journalist, Pan-Africanist thinker who spends what is perhaps the most productive years of his career here in Westchester County and specifically in the city of Yonkers. He arrived in about 1903 and left in 1916. And his nickname, Bruce, was what we would call a race man, which is to say he was one of the core of brothers and sisters who spearheaded the fight for Black freedom, justice, and equality. And it's important for us to note, and it's especially relevant, that his nickname was Grit Bruce, and he earned it through his work as a swashbuckling, we'll say, journalist. That's I don't know if I need to say anything else. Y'all know I have some things never change.
I wanted to say one quick thing. When we did the tribute to him, because once I learned about him because of y'all. Once I read up on this brother, he is responsible for a lot of the work we do here at Black Westchester. His journalistic endeavors and Black newspapers, and how he was speaking truth to power unapologetically and the whole nine. We stand on that legacy. So I had to honor him in a way that I knew nobody else would. You know what I'm saying? Because we stand on his shoulders. And the fact that the meetings in his house led to the Schomburg in Harlem, like they all the stuff I learned, I was like, I never knew all that. I was like, wow, this brother was deep and was doing things. And then his work on Marcus Garvey's, all that connection, that was powerful. So I had to share that with our audience. So this documentary, what is it called? What are y'all working? What's it called? And when's it coming out? Or what's the process y'all working on it now?
Harold, would you like to offer a response?
Yeah, before I do, I would like to take the opportunity to again thank Black Westchester for this platform, giving us the opportunity to speak about our project and to contribute to the history of journalism. And I want to also piggyback off what you said, AJ, in regards to Larnez. Larnez sends me articles that she has written, sharing them, and I would agree. She is a very positive addition to the program. And Damon, I want to say peace to you, brother. We met once or twice out in the world.
Yes,
I'm just
sir.
happy to be here and be a part of what's going on. Black journalism. You can't be a journalist without being a historian, without being an activist, or at least having your hands in some of those, if not all of them. So the project that we're working on is called History with Grit. And it's a pilot documentary that we were able to be awarded funds to produce this documentary based on a lot of the preliminary work that we've done. Black Westchester has been a part of this project here actually from its inception. Bob's relationship with the show, Bob's relationship with the program, kind of really ties us in close. So I feel as if I'm part of the Black Westchester family.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We've had some workshops, genealogy workshops. We did some history on Grit, on Bruce, his time in here in Yonkers, 146 Warburton. He and a couple of other brothers used to get together along with Arturo Schomburg, and they would just do the knowledge, research, study, build the way the gods do. And as you had mentioned, its ancestry, the Schomburg Cultural Center's ancestry begins here in Yonkers with those meetings, with those brothers getting together and doing the research on Black history. When we had the temporary marker ceremony, this is after Bob and I deciding that we Rise Up will officially take on this charge, carry this flag. And that flag is bringing to light some of those who have fell through the cracks of history. And Bruce is one of them. He was a brother of James H. Farrell Lodge, number 34, which is at 210 Warburton Avenue. I mean, he had his footprint here in Yonkers, and it just moved me. I was intrigued by that. I was intrigued by the fact that also, as prominent a figure he was in his time, from what the research says, there were a series of 3 funerals held for the brother, and over 5,000 people attended 3 funerals. And I just found that to be so amazing that such a brother with such rich connection to the people, to have 5,000 people attend his funeral and he have no headstone. And he lie in a graveyard that was maybe 100 yards away from one football field away from where I lived. And he was laying there all the time. And it just moved me. And I thought, Bob, this would be an excellent opportunity for us to apply the acronym of Research Initiatives for the Strategic Empowerment of the Urban Populace. You know, we've done a lot of things in the community, but this was one that we wanted to do and have such an impact. And we're contributing to the history of Yonkers, Black America, and Black history. Black American history is American history.
No doubt, no doubt.
I know I was kind of long-winded on that, but
so all that culminated to y'all now working on a full-fledged documentary.
Yes.
That's where y'all at
yes.
now.
Well, last year, if I remember, I went to the library to actually view the documentary, the first part of the documentary that you put together, and you had the panel talk there. And let me share something personal. After I watched the documentary that was put together about John Edward Bruce, something clicked in me, right? I knew him as a historian and an organizer, but I didn't know him as a journalist. And once I saw your documentary, and infinite gratitude to both of you, it actually helped me to expand and look at my journalism skill as a responsibility, not just a gift, right? Because once I started looking into what he did, he was disseminating information from all these Black communities all over the world. And I learned that in the documentary I watched that y'all put together. I had no idea. I say it all the time because I be in Harlem all the time. I say the Black Renaissance, the idea of the Black Renaissance started in Yonkers, started in his living room, started with these conversations, with these intellectual salons that they were cultivating in this space. And I'm just grateful that you're shining a light on his story and his legacy.
No doubt.
Well, AJ, we've, as you know, we've been working on this project for well over a year now. And in order to properly introduce the audience to the progress that we've made thus far and the ultimate purpose of the project, I thought it might be helpful to bring up some of the promotional material that I shared with you earlier.
Damon, where'd Damon go? Because I wanted Damon to load him up.
So,
go ahead, keep talking.
So the full title of the project is History with Grit, John Edward Bruce and the Rise of the Early Black Community. And it is funded by a seed grant from one of America's most prestigious academic organizations, the American Council for Learned Societies. And the goal of the project, in some respects, is to continue the tradition of popular education that Bruce and Schomburg, amongst others, initiated when they began their book collecting initiative that culminated with the creation of the Negro Society for Historical Research here in Yonkers in 1911, which, as everyone has noted already, becomes the foundation stone for the Schomburg Library. So I want to be clear that the goal of the project is to go beyond just merely the creation of a documentary, but rather to devise new and innovative ways to partner with the broader community in the process of doing research that is the glue that's going to hold the documentary together. One of the issues that Bruce and Schomburg, amongst many others, sought to overcome when they operated on the stage in national history was the growing division between well-educated Blacks, whether they were university trained, like in the case of W.E.B. Du Bois, or whether they were self-taught autodidacts. That's the word of the day. AJ, that's our word of the day, autodidacts.
Okay, you got to tell me what that means. You got to tell me what that means so I can use it.
Self-taught. And so self-taught brothers, and I should note, because me and Harold, and no one said it yet, John Edward Bruce is born enslaved in 1856 in Piscataway, Maryland, and his rise to the very pinnacle of the field of Black journalism in the late 19th, early 20th century is a credit to his program of self-education. And so at a time when many African Americans rightly bemoan the poor, insufficient education that many of us have received when it comes to matters of Black history, and one of your commentators noted it. They said it in the comment bar. They never even heard of John Edward Bruce, but it gives us an opportunity to overcome those limitations and to devise an independent pathway for self-education, especially continuing along into our adult years. So, brother Jones.
Yes, sir.
You had stepped away, man, when I just started to speak. Damon, I was wondering, to try to show the audience the progress that we've made, I was hoping that you might be able to share some of the promotional material I sent to you and AJ earlier. I sent you a poster that we made, a marketing and 1 minute long marketing promotion.
Where you sent it to email?
Yes, Damon, I sent it to your email, man. So that's kind of that's the goal. And as in keeping with this goal, this month for Black History Month, Harold and I are going to kick off our community education workshop series. In community education, we'll be doing this in conjunction with a number of partners to the project, including the Yonkers Public Library and the Westchester County Archives, and much to our delight and honor, the Schomburg Center. So at each of those institutions, starting January 31st, we're going to hold a series of workshops. We will introduce people to undertaking genealogical community research, drawing on tools that are publicly available. First, at the library, we could use like newspaper.com, Ancestry. I know there's a lot of interest. I don't know if any of you guys, by the way, I'd be curious to know if any of the panelists have actually delved into any genealogical research.
No.
And some of this does not entail is not DNA based research, but rather genealogical research that allows you to learn techniques to reconstruct your family tree by looking at old census documents along with other government documents like passport applications, draft cards, marriage licenses, even things like city directories.
So you know, we had this conversation. My sister has done a lot of work with my family with Ancestry, and she's tracked us back down to back to the days of slavery. She's able to track down where we're from and everything. So I know you and her have had conversations about that. So
right. And here you can see this is the ad. Harold and I have been working very hard to try to put together a professional package, to make sure we get the greatest participation. And this lays out for you guys what the schedule will be for the next month or two. I do want to tell audience members that the number of seats available are limited. One of them, at least, AJ is going to have one of them. I think AJ is going to be attending the workshop that we do up at the Westchester County Archives, if I'm not mistaken. We'll work that out again, AJ. But the seats are limited. And I got to tell everyone, man, look, the Schomburg Library is a multi-million-dollar institution that has no equal when it comes to the role that it plays in Black history and culture. And far too often, many of us have not had an opportunity to visit. I was talking with my niece recently who fancies herself as a serious student of Black history, and she told me she hadn't been to Schomburg yet. Guys, we got to go down to Schomburg. Look, I want to make an important point about self-education and the self-education philosophy that Bruce expounded. There are limitations to the education that we receive in public schools. However, when we become adults, we become responsible for our own learning. And there's nothing to prevent us from picking up the books, visiting the libraries that generations of scholars, including John Edward Bruce and Arthur Schomburg, made possible for us. So for those who understandably lament the poor education we have, I urge you to take advantage of the opportunity that Harold and I have made, along with the support of so many of our other partners, to come down to the Schomburg, see it. As it turns out, everyone, 1926, I believe, marks the 100th year anniversary of the Schomburg Library. And so they have a special exhibition that they put together that will walk viewers through the highlights and milestones of its evolution and history. And so maybe I'll be quiet.
So the 23rd is going to be a busy day. So I'm going to be with you from 1 to 4, and then I got to run up to the NAACP where Damon's doing his presentation about how to survive a police how to
survive police confrontation.
Yeah, at 7:00. So that's going to be a long day. So yes, I
need to be there because that's a head scratching mystery that is concerning many of us these days.
Everybody should be there. The Yonkers NAACP is a Yonkers NAACP thing. So everybody should come out.
Can you get shout out the time and location?
Yeah, it's at the BZAC Center, February 23rd from 7 to from 6:30 to 8. Let me look at the flyer. Hold on.
Till it's over.
It just says 7:00. Don't say when it's over. So
so when Damon done.
Y'all might be there at 12 midnight. You're keep
Sarah Lawrence
keep talking. Y'all gonna actually let me keep talking?
When Damon done teaching.
I don't know y'all serious about that.
Sarah Lawrence College Center for the Urban River at BZAC, 35 Alexander Street, Yonkers, New York. And the flyer
is hybrid.
Yeah,
physical or virtually, you can attend.
Right.
Yeah,
And the flyers on all our social media and on Black Westchester.
y'all want me to show the YouTube clip?
Can you? Yeah, Damon.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, Damon, before you cut to that, I just wanted to bring the attention of the audience down to the bottom rim of the flyer.
Mhm.
And that's where you will see all of the partners on the project.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Everyone that's involved with the project or sponsored or supporters thereof. And we are still looking for funds. So to the partners, to the listeners, we still need some support in making this come true.
So that being said, for anybody who is hearing about this, who's going to watch this later, who wants to support, how do they get in touch with y'all to support? How do they do that?
Bob.
So if you go to our webpage, the History with Grit webpage that we have at Rise Up's website, you'll find a link to our Indiegogo fundraising campaign, if I'm not mistaken.
And send that to me too, and I'll share it. So.
Okay, if I'm not mistaken. And I guess maybe I'll be quiet now.
And here's the video.
In the early 1900s, a man named John Bruce Gritt walked the streets of Yonkers. A journalist, a historian, a freedom fighter, a visionary. Today, his story is being brought back to life by students, scholars, and neighbors through the History with Grit project. With your help, we're building a documentary, a digital archive, and a living tribute to Bruce's legacy and to the community that shaped him. We are asking for your stories, your support, your partnership. Let's dig up the past and build a future we can all be proud of. To learn more, scan the QR code on the screen. Join us in reclaiming Yonkers' hidden history.
That's what's up. And again, I can't say enough of the work that y'all been doing. I've been pretty much privy to it since much of the beginning, of course, from Bob, and I've tried to attend what I could. I'm there when I can be there. You definitely have my support. Because it's important. We have to, and that's what Black Westchester tries to do. We have to document our history before others try to write it for us or outright whitewash it down and erase it. You know what I'm saying? Like we can't wait for others to document our history. We have to be purposeful documenting our history, and that's exactly what y'all two are doing. And I applaud the work, and any way I can be of help, y'all just gotta call.
But thank you, brother. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you, AJ. And I'll close out by noting that there's more at stake in this documentary than just learning about the life of John Edward Bruce. Indeed, when you put his life into a broader organizational perspective, one thing that you come to learn is that he tried to, as Larnez suggested before, as our challenge, to translate his ideas into concrete action here in the city of Yonkers. And there were 3 initiatives in particular that he helped to spearhead that continue to remain central to the challenges that we confront today. The first that I'll mention, and Damon, I was thinking about you especially with respect to this challenge, brother, is that he helped to spearhead several innovative Black businesses that adopted a economic philosophy of cooperative economics as a way of trying to address the challenge of under and unemployment in the Black community. He was part of a group of brothers who established a cooperative whose name was the Invincible Order of Colored Cooperators. And what is very interesting is that in when they started, I think it's 1905, Harold, if I'm not mistaken, when they launched it, they started by renting out, building and renting out 11, listen to me, 11 homes here in Yonkers, several of which remain in existence on Culver Street. And the Color Cooperative was a county-wide venture. So you had branches in New Rochelle, in Mount Vernon, and in Terrytown, and they provide for us a challenge today as we seek for new ways to address the housing and economic problem that we confronted. Another important thing that Bruce did while he was here, which Damon and AJ, you've already taken care of, he started 2 newspapers. The first, well, actually, I think my sense is this, it was actually the second, but he started 2 newspapers while he was here because of the central role that, you know, information plays in our lives. And then finally, everyone, he also was central in launching a number of political organizations. In this case, during the time, the Republican Party was dominant in the Black community and was fearful, as many are today, that the decline in Black support for the Republican Party would have long-term consequences for Black people, which would be detrimental. So how we organize ourselves economically, politically, and culturally is a question that Bruce and his colleagues attempted to answer. And some of those answers we should acquaint ourselves with today because we're essentially struggling with this very same challenges.
Absolutely. I wanted to shout out Andrew Wang, who said, reach out to Howard University as John Edward Bruce had a role with them and their newspaper when you were talking about support and stuff. So I don't know if that's, you know, he just put that out there.
It's absolutely. I think we've been
very accurate.
Harold must have set that up because
Andrew Wang is a major supporter of the cause. Yes. Mr. Hip Hop. I mean, he's always on the scene. Andrew supports, you know, the cause, the movement, and you know he works like us, you know, pro bono, and he's the odd one out, but he's leads the charge on a lot of things.
Always there. I'm sure we all can attest. Shout out to Andrew. We all can attest to the central role because we see he's involved in a lot of projects that people are undertaking around the table, and if he's enjoyed tremendous success himself. As a matter of fact,
and if he supports you, he supports you. He's come out to Long Island to see me perform. He's come down to the city with me to go see De La. He promotes everything that we do. He shares all our stuff religiously. Like, dude is like, you know.
Yo, so shout out to President Howard to call me, man. That's what I'm waiting for. Make that happen for me, man.
So this one's for Linez. Thank Linez for the invite, Lois.
Oh, you're welcome, Lois.
So any last words? Anything we didn't ask you that you want to bring up about the project, about John Edward Bruce, or anything like that?
Don't everybody speak at once. I think we pretty much covered everything. I do want to mention a few names. We have on our side who has been a great supporter of the whole John Edward Bruce movement and is one of the founders, for lack of better terminology, of our local research on John Edward Bruce, which comes from the Yonkers historian Mary Hoa. She's been big on the job with John Edward Bruce doing the research. Ken Davis, our past master of James H. Farrell Lodge number 34, Ken Davis. He himself, yes, he's done tremendous research. He's the lodge historian. So, you know, he was one of the ones who identified to the lodge the fact that Schaumburg is on our charter. James H. Farrell Lodge number 34, Schaumburg is on the charter. And Bruce was a member. And this was all brought to our attention as from the lodge as a whole by past master Ken Davis. the Yonkers Historical Society, the Sherwood House, Jackie Lareo. Did I say her name correctly, Bob?
I'm going to defer to you.
Yes. So these are just a few names that I just wanted to kind of really throw out there that has been involved with the project, full supporters. I mean, Mary Robeson and from the Yonkers Library, Mary Robeson, and of course we can't forget Jesse Montero, the director of the Yonkers Public Library, and others. I mean, there's so many. We've gotten so much support on this project, on the idea, and I'm grateful for that.
No doubt, no doubt,
Yes,
no
yes.
doubt. I wanted to definitely do this, and I wanted to start the show off with this, especially talking about John Edward Bruce, because one of the next segments I'm going to be doing is talking about Martin Luther King, and talking about how, as Black Westchester, it's our responsibility to preserve his legacy, because the preachers, teachers, and politicians have run with the narrative that he was just a peaceful dreamer. You know what I'm saying? And Martin Luther King was much more than that. And I wrote a couple of articles, and we're going to be discussing that. And that, again, work like that is inspired by what John Edward Bruce stood for, about representing ourselves and documenting ourselves. And Martin Luther King did a lot of those things where he advocated, he spoke truth to power. And, he did a lot of things that they don't tell us about in history. You know what I'm saying? Because it doesn't fit with their narrative. So that's
Right.
that's where we're going next. So I wanted to set this off first.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Lastly, my last shout out, and we cannot leave Brother Raymond Duguay from the UNIA.
Oh yes,
they were the UNIA. The UNIA has been a major supporter of the project. John Edward Bruce, in their eyes, is he's the driving force behind the UNIA, and they revered John Edward Bruce as one of the UNIA's historical contributions. So, Brother Duguay, big shout to you. The UNIA, thank you very much for your support and your continued support.
Damon and I had a lot of interactions with the UNIA. We used to go to Dr. Ron Daniels' the Pan-African meetings monthly downtown. The UNIA was very involved in that, and we used to have a lot of interactions with them. I haven't been to one of those meetings in a couple of years, probably quite a few years, but we used to go every month. And it was just those meetings were just incredible.
Yes.
I want to thank you, my brothers. Damon, any last words for them? Larnez, any last words for them before we move to the next?
We appreciate the work you're doing. Thank you.
Well, Damon, you muted. If you're talking, we can't hear you.
Oh, yeah. I'm glad your brothers is doing what you're doing, man. I wish y'all a lot of luck. Unfortunately, I won't be there because Larnez got me running my mouth in Yonkers. And but I wish y'all luck with that. The Schomburg is beautiful, like you said. We might have to start sponsoring trips for young people to go down there and spend a couple of hours at the Schomburg and learn, man. I think that is necessary. We have to stop worried about other people teaching our history, right? We have to be like others and teach our own history. And the Schomburg is definitely, a historical place, something that should be dear to Black people's hearts throughout not just New York, but throughout the whole world.
Nation,
throughout the whole world, right?
Yeah.
So we don't have to worry about people cutting funds, to change our history or to quiet what American history really is. We could just go to the Schomburg. We ain't got to worry about that. So thank you, brothers. I really appreciate that, and really appreciate the work you're doing. With this gentleman bringing the light, where we were as Black people in Westchester County, being independent, being thinkers, being about being about businesses. We went from having so many black businesses in all these towns to basically damn near having nothing. And we're not even having that conversation yet. But thank you for the work that you've done, bringing light on this brother's work. And, we all standing on his shoulders one way or another.
Indeed. Thank you, big brother.
Yes,
Thank you.